Mhm. Welcome, everyone. My name is Alex Karumna. I'm so glad that you're all here today. And in this training, we're going to explore how to engage young people as leaders in preventing sexual violence. So I'll be able to go through the presentation and answer some of the questions that you all have, and we can go. So going a little bit, we have ASL interpretation available for the people that needs it. Um, you go to the interpretation and you select ACE American Sign Language, and then you'll be able to see it and the ASL interpretation if you need it. Yes. Mm. Thank you. So what are we covering today? So some of our learning objectives today are understanding youth engagement, mostly being able to define youth engagement and its significance in primary prevention, or mostly how does youth engagement can play a big role in primary prevention. Um, then we'll go into the practical strategies for effective youth engagement and how to build strong partnership with young people or youth, or how to create a supportive environment and empowering leadership for young people. Thank you. Empowering young people to drive change. So why are we here today? Today's training will explore some of the critical role of youth engagement in primary prevention. We will look to why promoting healthy behavior and creating how young people are key to promoting healthy behavior and creating lasting changes. Youth will learn how to empower. We will learn how to empower youth and become effective leaders as and advocates for the well-being of their communities. So, why is it important, and how is it gonna help us get to the end of sexual violence as it is in general? So they bring fresh and current perspectives. So like when we count in young people, especially, there's that's the fresh and current updated experience than most of the advocates might not have, because as we move from the scenario of being a young person, we tend to leave so many things behind. So engaging youth in their current status increases our knowledge, and then also helps them navigate how they can be able to contribute to the future and well-being. Thank you. Let's dive a little bit. Let's go to on the trip. I think this is a story river. So uh, this is a classic story mostly to help understand the public health approach to the need of. So it's a story about moving upstream to closer source. The story goes as follows. A group of a group of people are camping near the river. Just as they are about to head to bed, they hear help, help, a sounding voice of someone asking for help. So they mobilize to get them out of the river. Maybe someone jumps in, or get a rope or a tree branch. Others get a fire camp and find warm clothes to dry the bedding. So this is a scenario where, in cases, there's always things happen, and then someone is falling in the river and they need help. So, as a moral compass of every human being, the sense of trying to help is how we do it. So this keeps happening all night until someone gets a brilliant idea to follow the river upstream to find out what's happening. Is there a bridge out? Is a sign knocked down? Someone intentionally pushing these people in. So as long as there's people in the rivers, we always need to find. There's always like, okay, in a response manner is that it's understandable to help people finding them a better place. But in a prevention mentality, we need to understand why this keeps happening and going back. So, which is called moving upstream. So, we need people to do the critical, important work of getting them out of the and helping them. So, like when you think about the needs, so response is needed, but no matter how good our response can be, or how better we are in responding to crisis, sometimes we cannot undo some of the trauma that people faces when they're falling, or we cannot do that. One fell in and got hurt, they won't be able to work for the next year and a half. So that's a mentality. And when we think about it, is that that's a problem and it's going to be a problem forever. In the same way, sexual violence has been always, it happens and we respond to the crisis, we respond to the people facing sexual violence or to the survivors, but the scenario of them being survivors doesn't change that they have faced trauma and they can still live with it for the rest of their life. So we can undo that, and having people in the river also we cannot undo it. So if we don't figure out what's causing this, there's always a way that people are going to still be survivors and victims of that river or sexual violence. So pulling people from the river, that's our responsibilities, mostly as advocates. We always keep pulling people. We keep trying to navigate the safety and healing journey of the survivors. But for the prevention perspective, it's the mentality of going upstream to see what's causing the people to fall in the river in the first place. If the bridge is out, we fix it. If there's no sign that indicate that this river, crossing the river is dangerous, and then we fix it. So the prevention mentality is going upstream and try to find out the reason and fix the reason. In our perspective on sexual violence is that the changes that we make in promoting healthy behavior, promoting and the gender stereotyping and everything to make sure that we're fixing all that. It's about building a fence and fixing the bridge, and so no one falls in the river from the first place. It's focused on creating a community where sexual violence is not an option. It's also focused on creating that safety, that anything that is violent is not acceptable in our community. So that's what I call primary prevention. So I will go ahead and just, what is primary prevention? Stopping a problem before it starts. In the context of sexual violence, it's about changing the cultural norms and conditions that allow violence to exist. So we gave this example a little bit in just in case. Sometimes I feel like today, in a response or risk reduction manners, we're finding many things that are happening. Teaching self-defense. Self-defense is a scenario where we can reduce the harm that is happening to the people, but that's a risk reduction. But primary prevention looks goes further than just looking for the way people can prevent themselves from being victim and survivors or putting themselves at risk. It just goes more in changing the culture. It goes more in teaching how to behave as a human. It goes more in changing how the society think. It builds a community where violence is not just acceptable. It doesn't have a place. Thank you so much, Ari, for the message. Going back to the key definitions. Does anyone have a question for the first few slides that we went through? Question, comment, suggestion, anything? Okay, I'll keep on moving. Mm. So There's the key definitions, mostly explaining what age and age groups most. Youth, ages 12 to 18. So that when we talk about young people, these are the age that we're talking about. So if you really want to highlight the difference between youth engagement and having young people present, authentically engaged youth engagement means that they're actively, authentically involved and their youth voices are acknowledged. So when you took up that, just the age group, those are the age group. But when you authentically engaging youth, that's what we call youth engagement. That means you're involving them in your programming. You give them the opportunity to speak up, and you're acknowledging that they are the people that are living the experience today. So, and bringing the partnership is that making sure that these decisions that you're making is not just for them, it's with them. It's all that they are on the table to make decision with you so that everything you do brings in the perspective of the young people and they'll feel like they have the saying. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So we have a little bit of a Mentimeter here, and I'm gonna, if you scan the QR code on your screen, you'll be able to see the Mentimeter, or I don't know what's happening. It's not. Okay, there's a. Okay. I see one of four people drained. Can people see the result of the Menti? Can you see the result with the Mentimeter now?
Yes.
Thumb. If yes, just a thumb up. We have 6 people that are responding right now. 9, 7. Yes. So on the averages, we're seeing that the majority of the people that are responding right now, they have, and they are really comfortable in responding or engaging young people. So we can have few more people respond. Yeah, we have 27 participants. We have 2 people signed in already. Few seconds before we move it forward. Okay, if no one is joining, second question comes up. So we talked about it. We see that the majority of the people are comfortable engaging young people. So what age group are you comfortable with the most? You have one response right now to. Yeah, keep them coming. We have two more people joined. Three. Thank you so much for participating in the Menti. So right now we're seeing more like of people joining they are very much comfortable engaging teenagers, 12 to 18 years old, a very vibrant age group. The second one is the young adults, mostly after college, the first few years after high school and college, when going through college and everything. And then we have 7 to 9 and 10 to 12 at last. So I'm going to move to the next. In your daily work, how often do you interact? In your work, in your role, in your position how often do you interact with young people or youth in general? We have 15 response, which is half of the people that are in attendance, saying this is showing clear numbers of how much you interact with people. We have people who interact daily, which is amazing that we have people here that mostly engage young people on a daily basis. Periodically is coming up, which means it's not very often. But daily interactions, they're amazing. That means you have the youth in your programming and everything, which is amazing. And we have few people that say never. And it's never too late to start also. That's good. Yeah. Thank you. 16 out of 17, 18 people. I'm still waiting for the response. There are people that are joining the Menti right now. Mhm. Our daily conversation interaction with young people is very much impressive. I love that. I love that we have young people in our work already. Thank you. One more. Before we dive in some of the strategic, just tell us one word why you're here today. What brought you to the table and learning the person. Thank you. So we have learning. Many people come to learn. Many people come for teaching. The passion is bringing people, which is very amazing. And I have the information. We also have the engagement. We also have some people who are here to learn they can bring these to their program. Some don't work focus on youth. And today's session and moving forward, I hope that one day, if you don't focus on youth, one day youth will be part of your work. Help, networking, working better with youth. So some of our work needs innovation, and we always try to innovate our program so that we can be better than we were before. So thank you so much for coming here. If you're working, looking to making your program better for the young people. Mm. 15 out of 19 people have responded. If you're still on the Mentimeter and you haven't submitted your response, please do. And other person say, grow my knowledge. We're here to learn all the time. And guess what? There's so much information that we always have to add to our bucket list of things to learn. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, 16, 17. Learn ways to teach youth. Growth. Two more people and we go. And will be the end or end this presentation for this mentee for today, and then we'll continue with the next slide. Um, I'm gonna give it 1 minute so we can do that. 17 to 19 people responded. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for participating in the Mentimeter today. We have seen that we're here today. Some of you have worked with youth. Some of you have never worked with youth before. Some of you interact with youth on daily basis. I don't know in what capacity, if it's prevention or response, but you have that mix of young people that are attending your daily presentations. Some are periodically, some are. And we have also some people who are here to learn. Some here are here to innovate and improve on their work. And some are here to continuously learning how to teach youth. Thank you so much all for participating. So, mm, mhm. Our next slide goes through strategies and what are the best strategies to engage, to meaningfully engage young people. So, going through this is that some of the strategies that we think about and we look through is that, and thank you so much, by the way, again, to share your experiences, is that we give them platform, mostly asking them what they need and what they want to work on. Mostly providing a platform. I don't know if you have a chat open in front of you. What do you think giving them platform means in your own capacity? Either which it doesn't matter, your response, your prevention, you just work with young people in other capacity that are not sexual violence. What does that mean to you? Just in your chat box. Hmm. What does giving a platform to young people means in your own work? Okay, thank you. Making them feel heard and valued, giving them the opportunity to talk about anything, give them heal a safe place to talk about trauma, ensuring they know their voice matters and building resiliency, helping them find their voice, empower them, a safe space to talk freely, allowing them to share their experiences and perspective, and giving them a safe place to be heard. Thank you so much. If you, we can continue. And the other thing is that all the things that you put in the chat is that they're all That's a platform. We give them platform. It doesn't matter what capacity we're giving them to. If it's in a healing and response capacity, if it's in a empowering them to be the future they want to be or to create something, giving them platform means that you bring them to the table so that they can contribute either to their own healing or to the work that you're doing or to the work that they want to do, to the future that they want to see. So that's what a platform means. That means you bring them on the table. Also, provide them with variety of opportunities. Is that match their interest and skills to be able to contribute. So providing them with the opportunities so that they can contribute. In some cases, is that I think when we talk about young people, sometimes we see them as beneficiaries, as the people who needs to be served. But in some cases, young people need opportunities to increase their knowledge, to be able to contribute to the work that you're doing. Today, I love that when young people take initiatives, they do so much better. We have heard some of the work of young student associations that happen in schools, how these young people are contributing and helping other young people to be better. And then when we talk about also providing them training, is sometimes is that yes, they have opportunities that they can contribute, but they also need the knowledge to grow and be an effective advocate. So when I say advocate, is sometimes yes, they are not at the age where they can do your job, but they are the age where they can be listened to by many other young people. They can influence the narratives that are happening around them in their schools, everywhere. So back in the days when I used to talk with young people, and if we needed mostly, we call them peer educators. If we needed peer educators, the only thing that the young people that we targeted sometimes were the young people with the drive to drive the influence in schools and every places, schools, health centers. These young people have the leadership in them already because they're the most listened to young people. Wherever they go, their group goes. If you choose and target them and helping them to develop their skills and knowledge, they can be effective leaders and effective advocates who can drive change in their own community and environment. Other than offering them training, also we also offer compensation. So mostly is that young people tend to give up when they don't feel valued. So compensation doesn't need to be any form of money or anything. Yes, gift card can do a good job at a target for a young lady or a young boy who wants an extra pair of headset for PlayStation or some makeup. But sometimes, yes, our organizations and our organization capacity doesn't have the power to provide this financial compensation, but we can do much more than financial. So when providing compensation for the youth is that it's a demonstration of showing that you value their contribution and expertise to the work, their expertise, their willingness to share their experience. Because sometimes we know it's hard, sometimes they don't even share. Sometimes it is even hard because they don't feel compensated. And we have young people who have the drive and the passion. I like that we have the people who came here just for the person. Hmm? But we also have young people who have the passion. These are young people who contribute and volunteer every time you want them to be. But we also have the other group of young people that needs to be elevated, that needs to be brought on the stage because those people would never volunteer until you approach them and give them the opportunity. And yes, there's a pair of many young people that does many things. So when you consider them, there'll be some that will come to you, and there'll be some that you have to approach and engage and bring them to the table. And then also, I want to, yes, use technology is one thing, but also I want you to be like mostly learning the language the natural language of young people. Technology is one of them. Some of the young people understand more technology than the other. And then other part is technology is where the generations for today spend more of their time on social media or anything. As long as you're using tools that incorporate their natural language, the way they speak, they communicate, then you're mostly trying to bring them on the table. Anything you have to add or say, comment, question right now? You can unmute and speak. That's okay. Okay. In the chat is open. Anytime you can share something. I think thank you so much, Ari, for sharing the website about Safe Youth Collaborative. This Safe Youth Collaborative is one of our best resources. It has every knowledge that you need and that targets every young person, resources and everything. So please visit it and then learn more about it. I have a case study. It's not a case study. I call it a success story. Because I feel like some of this work, sometimes it doesn't. So a group, it's a nonprofit, the Generation Work Partnership in Hartford, is in Connecticut. So created what we call Youth Young Legend Advisory Committee to empower young people. So these are part of like scenarios where the program can intentionally and openly engage young people in their work. So the Young Legend Advisory Committee was meant to empower young people in the workforce to develop in the workforce development process. So they brought together 24 young people and these young people received the training and applicable skills to advocate for their peers. So that means they didn't just come here to learn about what can make themselves better, but they were also learning how they can advocate and how they can continuously help their peers. Some of the strategy they were given an ability and opportunities to make decisions, and they were provided with the resources that they needed, and they were compensated for their time that they gave. These young people have made very significant contribution. They have changed their programming. I will share the link for the article so you can all have you can go through and read it, and it can give you the perspective on what it looks like working with young people and giving them a platform and the ability so that they can contribute to the work that you're doing. Mm. So, and I'm going to go to the next slide, which is a small group discussion. So we'll be discussing some of these questions. We'll have 5 to 7 minutes. So 5 minutes for discussion in the group. We'll be creating 4 groups. We'll be creating 4 groups, and then we'll be having 2 minutes for each group to present. So one person from each group will be able to just do like a present back what they discussed in the group. Ari is gonna assign you to the groups, and yeah, thanks. Group ready to give back the feedback from the groups? We start from group number one.
So that group would be Jamie, Jordan, Missy, and Tara.
I think we have the same problem we share about the barrier of language and then mental health issues. Trust bond, those kind of things.
So you say in your group, the barrier that you have that you face when engaging young people, the language barrier is one of the biggest.
Yeah, language barrier and also for the cultural issues. That's it, I think.
So yeah, for the second question, what what is one thing that you could do or have done to address some of these barriers that you have?
For me, I would just share like we need to try our best to create a bond with the client, especially when it comes to trust. Because if they don't have trust on us, it's hard to work. So trust is the main thing. Anyone who wants to jump, please jump and help me.
All right. Excuse me. I can. I think sometimes it's our youth, I guess personalities, or they're not interested because parents are making them do these things. I have one that totally ignored me. She was on the phone at all times. I try many different ways, many activities, and I have to bring my executive director in with one visit to try to see how she can help me do things different. She's coming along, but very, very slow. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Any barrier from group two and how to address those barriers? Or how did you?
Sorry, Alex, I think I was in group two, I
In
believe.
group two? Okay.
I,
Sorry, yeah, thank you. How did you make her not ignore you no more as she's coming along?
she started talking about her boyfriend. So I've used that as an opportunity to
Okay.
connect with her and, come have a conversation, just to talk. Yeah. So that's pretty much what we talk about all the time. Yeah.
Yes. So you gave the opportunity to her interest.
Excuse me. I'm so sorry, Alex. Yes.
Yes, that's good. Thank you. Anybody from group three? And
I can't remember what group. I think it was like first on group 3, and then I was on group 4, and then
Yep,
I
you're
don't know.
3, Ellie. You're good. It's you, Rhonda, Savannah, and Tara.
Yeah, that's why I was confused. I was like, I thought Tara was with us.
Yeah, I'm also confused because earlier you guys called my name also, so
There's a Tara, Terra, and then there's you, Tara. So
okay,
easy
it's
confusion.
okay.
Thank you for sharing.
Okay, well, in our group, it was like, we're just seeing a barrier of like having to connect or make the connections with schools, and just like the adults, like trying to explain to them what mental health is, and that if you see a therapist, it is not that you're crazy. Having that like on our end, it's having to connect the youth with therapists that speak the language. So there's a huge barrier there. Also insurance. There's not enough resources for them as well. And like what was the lady that just spoke about how I have had a client that it's my first client that I have had a like trouble interacting with. She does not want to come here, so I did explain to mom that our services are voluntary. So if that she didn't want to come, then like she shouldn't make her. And I told my client, whenever you want to come back and seek our assistance, then you're more than welcome to, because our interaction was like she would only say like no, yes, no. What else is there to talk about? Like just very short. At one point she's like, can you stop looking at me, please? You make me uncomfortable. And I was like, okay. Thank you for letting me know. But then I was like, where am I supposed to look? I felt very intimidated. So it was hard, but I told her, I was like, our services, our doors are always open. If at one point you want to come back, you're more than welcome to. And she's like, okay. But yeah, she did have like an attitude, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know how to have a conversation when she's like so closed. So that was like, that's a barrier that I can think about, plus all the other ones.
Do you think these are the barriers that can be fixed, addressed, or do you think some of the barrier that you mentioned, there's not an easy fix, but there's a solution to those?
I also noticed, Alex, that with our younger advocates, I could tell like that relationship with our youth, it's a lot more connected than us that are older, because when I can't keep up with my grandkids' music and what they like, or movies that they like to watch, or books, or whatever's out there, or games that, we're from a different generation. So I notice that a lot. Like our younger advocates, I try to connect them more with the youth, and then I'll take more like the older ones or younger kids too. But I notice that a lot. They're kind of demanding, these kids. They're more demanding on having someone their age that they can share more common things. I noticed that. I just wanted to share that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. They're very much more responsive to the people who looks and who can easily understand them. But also sometimes it's not practical, mostly since our movement is one of the movement that is understaffed in most cases. That means we have to find ways that we can interact and engage young people in another different level of capacities. Yes, today I don't know, like, yes, you can have a young advocate who just graduated college yesterday, but you don't want to overwhelm them with 17 cases of young people that can easily connect with her or him. So when that scenario happens, how do we train? How do we change our practices so that the young people that come to us feel welcomed and feel more like they can engage with anybody who is serving our services? Yeah. So I will hear from group 4, and then we can go towards the rest. And how do we create this partnership with young people so that we can be able to?
And that group is Jade, Gudden, Shiloh, and Somo.
I said, for my agency, we don't really get to work with the youth. But I really wish that we did, because, I feel like the youth is the most important, and, the prevention is best for them. But I have worked with some youth, and the barrier I felt was, that for me, I didn't feel comfortable without like, I don't know if I was like crossing like boundaries or something by not having their mom's permission because the mom was upset, even though the counselor asked me to be there. So I feel like that was kind of the barrier.
Thank you. So you were like the fear of they might be crossing boundaries with their parents because some parents didn't consent for the kids to be engaged with your practices.
Yeah, even though the counselor had asked me to speak to the child and she was okay with it, but then her guardians were just kind of upset, like, why are you talking to her? And yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Do you had any solutions that you could have implemented to make sure that your your engagement with the young people stays?
I could have asked the guardians if they were okay with it, but then again, the counselor had said that they might not be opposed to it. So I'm not sure. I think that's why I'm like doing this in this training to learn how to bring this to Rise so that we can engage with the youth and if we come across barriers, what we can do and how do we address it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for trying. And then the other part is that I think what works best in what capacity is youth engagement possible to or practical? Because some scenarios doesn't allow us to might not be easier. Like yes, serving young people is one thing, mostly in terms of responding to crisis, responding to some of their needs might not be as easier because there's the legal obligations that comes in parental consent and everything, but there's other parts of our work that allow us to do the engagement, and sometimes we tend to have those opportunities. I think I don't know, like was it a Luna that almost, I think if they still do the youth support group that they have, and how do we create those spaces that can easier be transformed into a youth engagement initiative? Spaces like that, because young people are already participating in spaces like those. You have already young people who have been served, who have been participating in your program in the past, in the future. How do we, because bringing them on the table is one thing that is the best part of, and there's, oh, thank you so much for putting working with minor on there, is that is bringing them on the table is one thing. Yes, serving or working with them is part of it. So we're going to the core principle like of building partnership with young people. Yes. So when I talk about the core principle is that sometimes, yes, earlier we talked about giving them platform, providing with opportunities, um, having them have the clear role and responsibilities that they can undertake. Is that yes, when we talk about respect, is that right now they're not coming to us as a client or survivors. In the partnership and the youth engagement, we bring young people on board as partners, as colleagues, collaborators, as the people that we want their expertise to be useful to the good cause that we're serving. So yes, it's in response. You're running a support group, so you have successful young survivors who healed, went through the healing journey and survived and became strong enough so that they can be able to help other young people. Can I bring and engage this person? today my engagement is no longer as I'm looking for him as someone who needs my help. I'm looking for them as the people who I need for my work to go ahead, for my work with minors, for my work with other young people, for my work with the other students to go ahead. That's why our programming, so most of the programming that becomes successful in mostly engaging young people. Thank you, Becky Lizano, for mentioning that earlier, is that these young people tend to listen to the peers, to their peers. And with that in mind, is that how do we equip with these successful survivors, these successful volunteers that are young people that we have, these young people that are already in the circle of our work into becoming the advocate, the peer educators, the partners that we need to promote the work that we're doing. So acknowledging their unique strength and experience and knowledge that they can bring to the table. So we run a support group. You have a survivor who went through your healing journey and have become strong enough so that they can be able to help others. Can we discuss our partnership? Can we discuss how we can help you help others? So that today, other young people's journey might not be as hard as yours were, so that we can be able to help that person. And then the other part is that promote giving them the ability to say, okay, now your story is yours, you own it, you can use it, you can use your voice to advocate for you, to advocate for other people. You have the strength and you have the ability to change these things. Encouraging, empowering them, and giving them the power to make decisions to encourage and involve other young people. Providing career roles. Mostly I say career role, but it's just opportunities to serve. I say that because I don't know, like I have worked in a public health field for a long time, but back in the days when I worked in the HIV field, some of the work that we had was the community adult and treatment supporters, which is they were young people living with HIV that would come to our facilities, and it would train them into becoming, you can call them peer educators, but they're treatment supporters. They had only 5 hours a day that they can work in a facility, and their role was to be able to guide other young people that are facing the same challenges, be able to do community medication adherence, support groups. Yes, they couldn't do the prescription, but they could say, okay, now you have these medications. How can we support you to take them better? So these were practices where young people became a big part of a big movement of changing how the HIV medication were taken in this district. That was in Africa. It was a program that we adopted. I like that one of us say that they're here to learn something that they can bring to their program. So some of these programs can be implemented. We had a case scenario of the Hartford, Connecticut Youth Legion, Young Legion Advisory Group. It was a 2-year program that brought in 24 young people that came in for the first year, training, learning, being compensated for their time. For the second year, them being outside there advocating for the other young people so that they can be able to influence and be able to change what it is. And then the other part is that move beyond technicism, is that sometimes a program implement programs just to be implementing them, not to just, we take young people as, okay, now I have 15 young people, this is my token. So moving beyond that is that you say them, it's moving beyond, is that you're helping them set the menu and prepare the meal. Like you're helping them create the work. You're helping them create the future that they need to be seen. So we use the concept nothing for us without us. So we don't want to continue working for the young people only, but we want to work with young people to create a safer community, safer environment, and prevent sexual violence from happening. That's how we do that. We do that by educating and involving and empowering young people to take the lead. So when we talk about primary prevention, and I see that today, yes, we have Jade shared earlier that some of the program and their grant doesn't allow them to do the part, but when we sit down here sometimes is that prevention is not possible without educating the younger generation to grow in a world or to create a world that doesn't accept violence. Today, we're here educating about primary prevention, but when we talk about it, that's what we need to see. We need to see. Yes, Jay, you saying something?
I was clapping to that, like, yes, that's, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, thank you so much. So we need to create the world where they need to be part of the world. They need to be part of the team that creates the safer world. Because what's safe for me? So we go back so many years ago, and what was safe for me was someone acknowledging that I exist. I'm a human being. But today it's not just that. It's about being safe at home, at school. It's about being safe everywhere. It's about like, so today the safety I need might be different but than the safety that the people need. It's about being safe online. I grew up not thinking that violence online was a thing because I used Facebook when I was 22. That was my first time being on Facebook. That was my first time being on Snapchat just joined recently, like is it not even 4 months ago. Those are things that we never had to experience, but these young people are living it today. So creating safety for them, that means you bring them on the table and they know, they understand what safety should look like for them. Thank you so much. Any question? Comment? Thank you. So when we talk about empowering and leadership, I think I probably touched it earlier. When we say about developing the future of advocates, yes, advocates are survivors. And the future advocate, peer leaders, however you want to call them today, is that we're developing the young people that will be able to help their fellows, their peers, their colleagues, their students, peers, so that they can be able to be successful and feel safe in the world that they have. So empowerment, giving young people the tools and knowledge and confidence. I want to emphasize on the word confidence because sometimes the fear and lack of confidence is what keeps us behind. You all have mentioned some of the things that happen, but the fear and I'm not being confident, sometimes it creates these habits that we want to say in the background. When they're talking about things that are important, I just need to see them done, but I don't want to contribute to seeing them done. So like raising young people's confidence to make decisions and take action for themselves and their communities is one of the things. That's what we call empowerment. Today, we're giving them the knowledge. First of all, is that they need to learn. They need to understand what's happening. The second thing is we need to trust them that they can do this work. So raising their confidence is that we trust you. I trust you that you can do this. I trust you that you can be this person. And I know you can. Developing their leadership skills, opportunities to present ideas to their peers and adults. That is one thing. The public health speaking is that the shyness that it comes from every angle. Like, I don't know. I think it's just everybody has it in some cases, but to speak up you need the courage. So when we're developing the leadership skills for these young people, is that we give them the opportunity to speak up and give their ideas a voice. Yes, ideas are mentally, but the voice comes out of your mouth. So today we're giving you the chance to use your ideas and speak up and use your voice to say them and speak. And then also not only to present to their peers only, sometimes to present to the adult. That's why the idea of youth advisory committee is a good idea. The idea of youth leading some support group can be a good idea. The idea of having young people in school leading social clubs and other form of clubs that are happening in school can be a good idea. The project management. So the other idea of project management is that involving them in the planning, executing, and evaluating prevention campaign is that now they need to be at the level when they can, in the planning process, the contribution is being seen and noticed. And so that it doesn't just only make the project better, but it also encourages everyone behind them. Like, okay, now I can grow into this person. I remember when we talk about mentorship, sometimes everybody here who has a mentor wanted to, in some capacity back in the days, I don't know about right now, but back in the days, we wanted to do things as our mentor does them. So in the peer mentorship and the project management, giving them tasks, giving youth the opportunity to serve in the planning, executing, and evaluating to understand the whole concept is a good thing, because in that capacity, then we are giving not only them, but also showing that the rest of the young people in the group, in the circle, can be this person, or can be better, or can do much with their skills and knowledge. Advocacy. And then also the other part is that we're encouraging them to speak to community leaders, policymakers about issues that matters. So today, we have been challenged in many ways that we can do. But these young people are in school. These young people are in the community. These young people have parents and friends that are today, they have parents who have friends who are in a position of power. These young people, we don't send them to do the lobbying or anything, but they can speak about the future they want to these people, to their community leaders. Today, when the scenario like a community pond or a community pool is not as clean, young people get hurt because they're the one who uses it so much. If these young people can speak up and tell the community administration saying that the pool has been hurting other young people, then there's that voicing what they need that can contribute to changing what's happening on the ground. So encouraging young people to speak up to policymakers, community leaders, or anybody who has the power to understand or listen to them. Thank you. Our next slide goes to the fairness in youth engagement. When working with young people, it's important to consider how we can be as fair as possible. There's one thing that I say, fairness is a big word. And being fair doesn't mean easy. It means don't just take the easy route, but go further into understanding that this community needs more, this community. So like the key question that we have to ask ourselves, are we making decisions in partnership with young people? Or do our strategies, are they leveling the playing field for everyone? Because yes, it's the world that we live in, but are we leveling the playing field? Are we making sure that our contribution is making sure that young people are successful. But these young people are becoming successful. How do we create this authentic partnership with these young people? So these are the things that we continue to ask ourselves, is that, yes, making decision in partnership with, not just making decision for the young people. Because I feel like every decision that every young adult has made for the young people, they get ignored because young people don't accept and believe in it sometimes. They just, okay, you did it. But if these decisions are made by young people for young people, then those decisions are given that an extra value of strength, because now I believe in those. Thank you. And other young people will get to believe in those decisions. Let's talk about connecting the dot. So I brought this in not just because I think it's one of the tools that CDC use to connect every form of things that happens in the world around, and that can connect everything. So the bullying, sexual violence, suicide, youth violence, they're all interconnected in some capacity. I'm not gonna go deep into this, but I will share the presentation and you can use this tool anytime you want. It just educate about the purpose is that it connect all the sectors. Sexual violence prevention doesn't exist in the vacuum. The most powerful efforts to connect other issues that young people already care about. This CDC tool shows that sexual violence is interconnected in all forms of violence. So like we talk about bullying, sexual violence, we'll find it there. We talked about dating violence. We talked about, so connecting all these issues is that there's more than one way that we can tackle and engage young people, because they are interested in many other things other than sexual violence. So engaging young people, there's a way we can feed two birds with one stone or whatever. So yeah, that's someone used it one day. Thank you. So there's 3 ways that this can be used. One is that when you go to the link, you click on one of the form of violence that you're trying to connect with, and then they will show you which connects, which are the protective factors, and which are the risk factors. So I'm not gonna go into this so much, but I will share the link so that everybody can have it. So if you go to the link, you'll be able to use it anytime. Thank you. So let's talk about next slide, is that we create a supportive environment. So to maintain the youth engagement is that we have to create this supportive environment. They need to feel supported and they need to feel trusted. So when I say safety and trust, is that establish a space where young people feel physically and emotionally safe to share ideas. Yes, in the response, there's one thing, but in the prevention side is that young people have the ideas. In the response side, sometimes it's more about how we are helping them. On the response side, on the prevention side, it's more like, yes, what can we do to make your future safe? So that means we're inviting them to the space and they can be able to freely and emotionally feel safe to share their ideas. And then also the second thing is that ensuring this the space for all. So like ensuring that your initiatives are welcoming for youth from all background. So that means, because when we talk about the connecting the dot, all background have a shared connection in many ways. Either So when we're giving space, is that there's a contribution from every person and how they can be able to, and then also to contribute to the work that you're doing. And the third thing is celebrate success, recognizing their efforts, achievement as leaders, no matter how small it is. So when we talk about the ability to even willing to do like a peer education session. Yes, today we educate young people. Yes, we want them to take action and be able to do that. Yes. And when a young person, even if they entertain the idea of taking an action into like, okay, today I commit to be an advocate to my friends at school so that they can get one more plate of meal a day. That's my Africanism talking sometimes. How does that work? So if an advocate as a young person understands the problem and is willing to say that, we celebrate that because that's a very big commitment, and we celebrate the idea that they have already recognized their power as young people. And provide them resources and capacity. Like mostly when we talk about resources, that sometimes to be able to succeed, you have to have certain tools and resources. So when we talk about providing resources, is that not only the material and the knowledge they need, also access to funding and mentorship they need to be able to be successful. So we do provide that too. So summary and next step. I think I'm closing down here. Meaningful youth engagement is the key to effective and sustainable prevention. So meaningful means authentic, means you're engaging them not as your beneficiaries. Today you're partnering, you're willing to partner with young people. You're creating an advisory board, but you just don't create it just to be there. You're intentionally creating an advisory board so that it can contribute to the innovation and the progress of your work. By building an authentic partnership and empowering young people, we can create a powerful force for positive changes. What will you do? So I want you to go through the strategies, identify one strategy from this training today or next week or anytime soon. Feel free to reach out to the people in the group, to me, to anybody else, to discuss some of the best strategies that we can employ and adapt at least one youth engagement activity in your work. Thank you so much. Do you have any question? Yeah.